right, so we're live.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I stand before you
Someone.
today to fulfill one of my highest and most important duties.
The duty that you requested that the Senate not do for President Obama during his
nomination
term.
of a Supreme Court Justice. This is my third such nomination.
Unfortunately, something I was telling people that Donald Trump could have 3, and people were like, well, that's ridiculous. He's not going to name 3. He named 3.
Over the past week, our nation has mourned the loss of a true American legend. Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg was a legal giant and a pioneer for women. Her extraordinary life and legacy will inspire Americans for generations to come. Now we gather in the Rose Garden to continue
In contradiction to the Republican idea that you should wait and not appoint, equal justice,
rule of law,
impartial rule of law, sure.
Nominate one of our nation's most brilliant and gifted legal minds to the Supreme Court.
I guess probably having duplicate things.
Towering intellect, sterling credentials, and unyielding loyalty to the Constitution, Judge Amy Coney Barrett.
Yep. That's exactly what I thought it was going to be. Unfortunately, that is what Amy Coney Barrett. Well, I think I'm having duplicate audio as well, which stinks. But yeah, let's go ahead and we're pausing that a second to fix that audio issue. Hold on, hold on. Not plugged into the right thing. Let's switch that. Of course, I just got back from the hospital. My wife had a procedure done, and unfortunately, that is something that what happens. Let's see. Let's see if we're getting any audio from this. Here we go. Desktop audio. Back to the... Oh, look at that. There's, 2 masks? There's 2 masks. I think that's a record for a Donald Trump event. Oh, wait, 3. I think I see 3 masks. Three whole masks. There might be more. We only got to see a small part of the non-socially distanced events in the Rose Garden.
Joined by Amy's husband, Jesse.
Who is potentially the person who's going to actually have the rulings on the Supreme Court because of what these people believe in.
With us as well are the First Lady. Thank you, First Lady.
The First Lady. Thank you, First Lady, huh?
Along with Vice President Mike Pence and his amazing wife, Karen. Thank you very much, Mike.
I like Karen.
Judge Barrett is a graduate of Rhodes College and the University of Notre Dame Law School. At Notre Dame, she earned a full academic scholarship, served as the executive editor of the Law Review, graduated first in her class, and received the law school's award for the best record of scholarship and achievement. Upon graduation, she became a clerk for Judge Lawrence Silberman on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia. Amy then received one of the highest honors a young lawyer could have, serving as a clerk on the Supreme Court for Justice Antonin Scalia.
Which, you know.
A highly...
well, so wonderful. I mean, yeah, he was a genius, but he was also ridiculous.
A very highly respected law professor at Notre Dame wrote to Justice Scalia with a 1-sentence recommendation. Amy Coney is the best student I ever had. That's pretty good. Justice Scalia hired her shortly thereafter, and we are honored to have his wonderful wife, Maureen. Where is Maureen? Maureen Scalia with us today. Thank you. And our great Secretary of Labor. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. very good genes in that family, I will say. Very good genes.
I like genes,
Before joining
although
the
I like
bench,
women
Judge
without
Barrett
genes
spent 15
more.
years as a professor
Of course,
at the
he's going back to his very
University
good
of Notre Dame Law
genes
School.
thing, which
She was
his
renowned
racehorse
for her
theory.
scholarship,
That's
celebrated
because they're
by
white. That's why they
colleagues
have
and
the good
beloved
genes. It's
by
probably
her
what
students.
he believes.
3 times she was selected at Notre Dame Distinguished Professor of the Year. When I nominated Judge Barrett to serve on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Seventh Circuit in 2017, every law clerk from her time at the Supreme Court endorsed her and endorsed her nomination, writing, quote, "We are Democrats, Republicans, and Independents, yet we write to support the nomination of Professor Barrett to
Somebody
be a
on a
circuit judge.
lower
Professor
court
Barrett is a woman
is somebody
of
who is
remarkable
going to
intellect
have
and character. She
the
is eminently qualified.
not going to
by-
overturn current
and I
Supreme
can
Court
tell you,
precedent.
I did that too.
They have to
I
follow
looked and I
current precedent.
studied,
As a
and
Supreme Court
you are
nominee,
very eminently
she is somebody who
qualified
can
for this job. You're
overturn
going to be
Supreme Court
fantastic.
precedent.
Really fantastic.
And that's what the concern is that she will do so on
The
things
entire
like
Notre Dame law facility
do other things
and faculty,
like Roe v.
everybody-
Wade,
everybody
Casey versus
at
Planned
that
Parenthood,
school also-
Obersville.
We got so many
V.
letters.
Hodges.
Also wrote letters of support to the Seventh Circuit. They wrote, in effect, despite our differences, we unanimously agree that our constitutional system depends upon an independent judiciary staff devoted to the fair and impartial administration of the rule of law, and we unanimously agree that Amy is such a person.
For the lower
For
court,
the last 3 years,
Not
Judge
for this
Barrett
court,
has served with
for the
immense
lower
distinction
court.
on the federal bench.
the lower court,
Amy is
to
more
be
than
clear.
a stellar scholar and judge. She's also a profoundly devoted, is a core part of who Amy is. She opened her home and her heart and adopted 2 beautiful children from Haiti. Her incredible bond with her youngest child, a son with Down syndrome, is a true inspiration. If confirmed, Justice Barrett will make history as the first mother of school-age children ever to serve on the U.S. Supreme Court. That's good.
What does that have to do with it? That has nothing to do with anything. Having school-age children does not add anything to it.
Of them here today, thank you very much. I see you in the audience, and you're so proud. But I want to thank you for your commitment and to providing a fair and timely hearing. I know it will be that.
Fair
Judge
and
Barrett
timely
was
meeting in
confirmed
time to
to the
rule
Circuit Court
to
3
support
years
my
ago by a
presidency
bipartisan
when I
vote.
sue to
Her
overturn the
qualifications
valid
are
results of the
unsurpassed,
election that elected Joe Biden.
unsurpassed, and her record is beyond reproach. This should be a straightforward and prompt confirmation.
It should be
It
straightforward.
very easy.
They should vote no.
It's going to be very quick. I'm sure it'll be extremely
I like things that are
non-controversial.
quick, especially when I have
We said
sex
that
with
the last
Melania.
time, didn't we? Well, thank you all very much, and thank you for being here. That's really great. Thank you. Thank you. I further urge all members of the other side of the aisle to provide Judge Barrett with the respectful and dignified hearing that she deserves.
Let's
And
ask
frankly,
her
that our
whether or
country
not
deserves.
she is going
I
to.
urge lawmakers and members of the media to refrain from personal
She's
or
going
partisan
to
attacks
use
and
her
the stakes
religious
for
beliefs
our
to
country
guide her
are
rulings in the
incredibly
Constitution.
high. Rulings that the Supreme Court will issue in the coming years will decide the survival of our Second Amendment, our religious liberty, our public safety, and so much more. To maintain security, liberty, and prosperity, we must preserve our priceless heritage of a nation of laws. And there
Right,
is
not
no
of
one
religion,
better
of laws.
to do that than Amy Coney Barrett. Law and order is the foundation of the American system of justice. No matter the issue, no matter the case before her, I am supremely confident that Judge Barrett will issue rulings based solely upon a fair reading of the law. She will defend the sacred principle of equal justice for
Will she?
citizens of every race, color, religion, and
For
creed.
equal protection of, it's not just
Congratulations
citizens that
again
have
to
equal
Judge
protection
Barrett.
under the law.
I know
It's
that you
people
will
who have
make
equal protection under the
our
law.
country very, very proud. Please, Amy, say a few words. Thank you very much.
Oh, here we go.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
ridiculous.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. President. I am deeply honored by the confidence that you have placed in me.
I wouldn't
I
be.
am so grateful to you and the First Lady, to the Vice President and the Second Lady, and to so many others here for your kindness on this rather overwhelming occasion. I fully understand that this is a momentous decision for a president. And if the Senate does me
overturn,
the honor of confirming me, I
to
pledge
go against
to
what
discharge
Republicans
the
said 4 years ago?
responsibilities of this job to the very best of my ability.
Discharge? That's a good word.
I love the United States, and I love the United States Constitution. I am truly...
If you love it so much, why don't you marry it? Sorry.
I am truly humbled by the prospect of serving on the Supreme Court. Should I be confirmed, I will be mindful of who came before me. The flag
Welcome
of
to
the
the people
United
who are currently
States
watching.
is still
Thank you.
flying at half staff in memory of Justice Ruth Bader
Yeah,
Ginsburg.
the body's not cold
to
and they
mark
had to
the
name,
end
rush
of
to
a
name
great
you.
American life. Justice
Salivating,
Ginsburg
wild
began her
hyenas that the
career at a
Republican
time
Party is.
when women were not welcome in the legal profession. But she not only broke glass ceilings, she smashed them. For that, she has won the admiration of women across the country and indeed all over the world. Yes. Great consequence need not destroy affection. In
Welcome
both
to
my
all the
personal
viewers
and
currently watching,
professional
or the 3 concurrent
relationships,
viewers currently
I
watching.
strive to
Please
meet
remember
that
to subscribe
standard.
to the channel whenever I go live.
I
Like
was
it,
lucky
get
enough to clerk for
notifications.
Justice Scalia. And given his incalculable influence on my life, I am very moved to have members of the Scalia family here today, including his dear wife, Maureen. I clerked for Justice Scalia more than 20 years ago, but the lessons I learned still resonate. His judicial philosophy is mine too.
Is it now?
A
That's
judge
concerning.
must apply the law as written. Judges are not policymakers.
How do you interpret
and they
the Ninth
must
Amendment
be
as
resolute
written?
in setting aside
I
any
wanna know that.
policy views they might
How do you interpret
hold.
the Ninth Amendment as written?
The president has asked me
Strictly,
to become the
as a
ninth
strict
justice. And as
follower
it
of the
happens,
Constitution.
I'm used to being in a group of 9, my family.
Hurry.
Our family includes me, my husband Jesse, Emma, Vivian, Tess, John Peter, Liam, Juliet, and Benjamin. Vivian and John Peter, as the president said, were born in Haiti, and they came to us 5 years apart when they were very young. And the most revealing fact about Benjamin, our youngest, is that his brothers and sisters unreservedly identify him as their favorite sibling. Our children obviously make our life very full. While I am a judge, I'm better
Okay.
known back home as a room parent, carpool driver, and birthday party planner. When schools went remote last spring, I tried on another hat. Jesse and I became co-principals of the Barrett e-Learning Academy. And yes, the list of enrolled students was a very long one. Our children are my greatest joy, even though they deprive me of any reasonable amount of sleep. I couldn't manage this
Okay,
very
I feel
full
you
life
there.
without the unwavering support of my husband, Jesse. At the start of our marriage, I imagined that we would run our household as partners. As it has turned out, Jesse does far more than his share of the work. To my chagrin, I learned at dinner recently that my children consider him to be the better cook. For 21 years, Jesse has asked me every single morning what he can do for me that day. And though I almost always say nothing, he still finds ways to take things off my plate. And that's not because he has a lot of free time. He has a busy law practice.
Excuse me.
It's because he is a superb and generous husband, and I am very fortunate. Jesse and I have a life full of relationships, not only with our
I was about to
children,
say,
but with siblings,
full of relations?
friends, and fearless babysitters, one of whom is with us today. I am particularly grateful to my parents, Mike and Linda Coney. I have spent the bulk of my adulthood as a Midwesterner, but I grew up in their New Orleans home. And as my brother and sisters can also attest, Mom and Dad's generosity extends not only to us, but to more people than any of us could count. They are an inspiration. It is important at a moment like this to acknowledge family and friends. But this evening, I also want to acknowledge you, my fellow Americans. The President has nominated me to serve on the United States Supreme Court, and that institution belongs to all of us. If confirmed, I would not assume that role for the sake of those in my own circle, and certainly not for my own sake. I would assume this role to serve you. I would discharge the judicial oath, which requires me to administer justice without respect to persons, do equal right to the poor and rich, and faithfully and impartially discharge my duties under the United States Constitution. I have no illusions that the road ahead of me will be easy, either for the short term or the long haul.
Nope, it won't.
I never imagined that I would find myself in this position. But now that I am, I assure you that I will meet the challenge with both humility and courage. Members of the United States Senate, I look forward to working with you during the confirmation process, and I will do my very best to demonstrate that I am worthy of your support. Thank you.
What else we got to say? Then we are going to talk about the people of praise, and we're going to talk about some of the hypocrisy going on here as well. Everybody stay close to me, or don't get close to me because I don't want the COVID.
I want to acknowledge,
even though I've downplayed the threat.
Bill, thank you very much for being here. Chief of Staff, thank you very much. Chief, you're doing a great job. And
heck of a job, Brownie.
Senators, please, we really appreciate it, and I know you're going to have a busy couple of weeks, but I think it's going to be easier than you might think. So thank you very much for being here.
We're going to force it through. We're not going to take any questions, and we're just going to ram it right through your throats.
Congratulations, Amy.
Is that going to be it? Is that the end of the, there we go. That's the end. So, what we got to talk about here? So, we have the situation, again, where the Republicans are being hypocrites, and I have no illusion that Amy Coney Barrett is going to be our next Supreme Court Justice. In fact, I've been saying for a very long time now, Donald Trump just proved me right, that when Ruth Bader Ginsburg leaves the bench, she's going to be replaced by, Donald Trump is going to replace her with Amy Coney Barrett. That I said that's going to happen. I've been saying it's been going to happen. That has been going. I've had a long couple days, folks. I'm sorry. Anyway, I said that if Donald Trump had the opportunity to replace or to fill a vacancy when Ruth Bader Ginsburg either had to resign or when she passed away, that the person that he was going to fill that vacancy with was Amy Coney Barrett. I've said it for a long time. I was not necessarily surprised that he replaced Kennedy with somebody else, because I thought that he wanted the optics, as I use the word that I hate. I thought he would want the optics of replacing Ginsburg with Barrett. And I hate that I get to tell you that I told you so. I've been shouting about this for a long time now, and I hate that I was right. Normally I like being right. I hate that I was right. I hate that. I think back in the 2016 elections, I was like, well, what happens if Donald Trump gets to name 3 Supreme Court justices? I need to go find, I either said it on my podcast, or I blogged about it, or I put it on Twitter. It's somewhere out there. I don't know where it is. Maybe I need to go find it. But I said in 2016 that what happens if Donald Trump gets to name 3 Supreme Court justice. Oh no, that's never going to happen. Guess what? It just happened. And there's no way. Anybody who believes that the Democrats are going to be able to block, there's no legal way to block her appointment to the Supreme Court. Just going to leave it at that. There's no legal way to block it. We're going to have Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett sitting in that bench, and it's probably going to be sitting in that bench before the election. And as much as Democrats would love for her to commit to abstaining or recusing herself from any decision having to do with that appointment, I mean, if you're going to say that, you might as well say, well, all of the Supreme Court justices that Donald Trump confirmed should recuse themselves. But it's not going to happen. It's unrealistic to ask them to do that. It's never going to happen. So, no, we can point out any hypocrisy that exists, and I have no problem with pointing out that hypocrisy, but there's no reason to believe that stating it is something that's going to actually work. It's not actually going to happen. So, that's why we need to retake the Senate. We need to take the presidency away from Donald Trump, and we need to make sure that we vote in such great numbers that there's no way that he can think of challenging the results of the election. Then that hopefully that you would have the 3 liberals that remain on the court, plus Roberts, plus maybe Alito or Thomas, who might say, you know what, you're being ridiculous, even y'all have gone too far. And the fact that we have to rely on Alito and Thomas to do the right thing means that we're in a scary situation at this point. We're in a very scary situation at this point. But let's talk a little bit about, let's roll back and talk a little bit about the hypocrisy that's going on here, about there's conservatives. Well, people are talking about Amy Coney Barrett's religion, and that's hypocrite. There's no religious test. These are the same people who called Obama a secret Muslim, who are now saying that there's no religious test. They called Obama a secret Muslim, and now want to say that there should be no religious test for things in government. It's hypocrisy. And I guarantee you that if Joe Biden, let's say Joe Biden becomes president, and we're able to get that done, and let's say we have a Democratic Senate, and we're able to get that done, and let's say the Congress decides that they're going to increase the size of the Supreme Court and then pack it. Let's say we're able to get that done. Let's say Joe Biden appoints somebody who happens to be a Muslim to the Supreme Court. Do you believe that these same people who are like, there should be no religious, stop persecuting the Christians, do you really believe that those people are going to sit back and be like, oh, well, we said that they shouldn't criticize Amy Coney Barrett for the Supreme Court for her religious beliefs, so we should now also not criticize this person's confirmation because that person happens to be a Muslim? No, that's never going to happen. Again, it's unreasonable to believe that the Republicans, the conservatives that are making these arguments, there shouldn't be a Supreme Court, a litmus test based off a person's religion. There's no reason to believe that they're going to somehow be consistent if Joe Biden names a person who happens to be raised Muslim onto the court, or someone who converted to Islam. Either way, there's no way to believe. There's no way that you should believe that that's going to happen. So that's going to be more of their hypocrisy. And I want to see it. I want to see Joe Biden become president. I want to see him be able to name 4 more Supreme Court nominees, because I want them to increase it to 13. And I want one of those people to be somebody who either converted to Islam or who has been raised in Islam their entire life. And I just want to see the hypocrisy come forward. I would have hypocrites of the week for weeks. Might even preemptively hypocrite of the week then, because there should be no religious test, especially for the people that believe that Barack Obama was a sacred Muslim. Ridiculous. And again, we're not even talking about the fact that she's a Christian. I don't care that she's a Christian. People didn't care about Ruth Bader Ginsburg being a Jew. Well, why? Because nobody believed that Ruth Bader Ginsburg was going to use the Supreme Court to, ban bacon. Nobody believed that was going to happen. So that's not the problem. there are plenty of people who are Christians who have been on the Supreme Court who are not Bible, because that's what my religious